Good morning once more for those who are able to join in the celebration of Mass, and for those who've joined after the celebration of Mass. Paul sends his apologies on his feast day. He's gone to visit Uncle Paul. I noticed it was Uncle Paul's 80th birthday, so happy feast day, although actually the feast day is tomorrow. It's one of those feast days that's changed when it falls on a Saturday or a Monday, where Holy Day is changed to Sunday when it's on a Saturday or a Monday. So actually tomorrow is the 29th, which is Peter and Paul's day. But, you know, we celebrate it on a Sunday because it's too complicated otherwise. I'm in the conservatory this morning because it's nice. It's not too brightly sunny. When it's bright sunshine, it's too bright, it glares too much, so it doesn't work on the iPad. So, but it's not too bright, and it also means I can show you how the tomatoes are doing. Let me see if I can turn the picture around so you can see one of the tomato plants. Here we are. Well, you can see there's the lettuce and cauliflowers in the garden. I was so excited yesterday because the cauliflowers have now got flowers in the middle of them, and it was so exciting. And it's miraculous, nothing but a miracle. Because I grew those from seeds, and there's now miniature cauliflowers inside each of them. There's cabbages, there's strawberries. I had some strawberries and ice cream yesterday, and there's potatoes, there's lettuce, cabbage, cucumbers in the greenhouse, peppers, and some tomatoes. Show you the tomatoes. Is pride a sin? I suppose there can be, but I'm very excited about eating the tomatoes. So there's lots of nice tomatoes to eat. So it's great. So that's enough of my horticultural shenanigans. Good job it's not raining, we wouldn't hear you. Right, well, it's not too bad because this conservatory has a glass roof, so it's not too noisy. So it just gets very hot sometimes, but that's the purpose of them. My husband's Peter, our son is Paul. That's great, well done. I have a brother called Simon Peter, so it's his feast day today, Simon Peter. I'll be speaking to him later on. He lives in Bristol, so it'll be nice to talk to him and wish him a happy feast day. Not that it will mean anything to him, because he never darkens the door of a church, but that's a separate topic altogether. I listened this morning to the service on Radio 4 because I was up early, and I rewrote my sermon this morning, because it's funny, isn't it, how, I think I've told you before, I always start a sermon on the Sunday before. So later on today, I'll start next Sunday's sermon. And I write something, and then I think about it, and I, pray about it and live with it for a week. And then I preach it usually at the moment on a Saturday night, and then again on a Sunday. And I have to say, those who come on a Sunday always get the best version, because the Saturday night's the first version, and then sometimes the Sunday's better. But I woke up this morning, I had a thought, or God put a thought into my mind. And I wish He'd put it in earlier in the week, because at 7:10 I was sitting at the computer rewriting the sermon for today. And I hope it made sense. I think I was able to an insight into, that question, where are you going, where are we going, just sparked some thoughts about Peter and Paul and the present pandemic and the way we are. So I hope it made some sense. And then I listened, as I said, to the morning service on Radio 4, which I don't always listen to, because to be honest, I'm not a great lover of religion on the radio or television. Doesn't always work, I don't think. But it was John Bell, and John Bell is always worth listening to. If you ever hear of anything that John Bell does, it's always worth listening. John, a lay member of the Iona community, up in the wilds of Scotland. And John has such incredible insights. I mean, he's a real prophet in our times. And I just listened to it, and I used the bidding prayers for Mass from the morning service, because it was powerful. I've actually transcribed the service because I thought there's so much for the synod in this service. So I mean, if you haven't listened to it, you know, and the music was beautiful. I mean, I'm not advocating, you know, extra religious practices, but, you know, if you get a chance, you know, listen to it. It's only half an hour, and you can get it on BBC Sounds, on the iPlayer. You know, it's well worth listening to if you can, because you'll be, well, I was inspired and challenged by it, and I hope you will. And it made me think, I was going to talk a bit about books because I'd finished, but we'll save that for next week. It made me think about the radio. I love the radio. I think if somebody said to me, you can have either the television or the radio, I wouldn't hesitate to say the radio. I mean, there's so much variety, and there's so much that I find inspires on the radio. I mean, I turn the television on last thing at night just to do nothing. But, you know, and there are some great things on the television. I'm not decrying the television at all. But, you know, so maybe, you know, does anybody have a favourite radio programme? Maybe from the past, maybe from now, maybe a favourite radio station, a favourite presenter. Maybe just let's have a bit of a conversation around that for a few moments, because that's worth just sharing a little thought about, I think. I discovered, I mean, it's more than a year old now, Scala Radio. You have to have a DAB radio to get it. And it's a kind of modern classical music station. And I think it began March last year. So not this March gone, but March before. And Scala Radio plays the kind of music that I'd like to have in the background when I'm doing other things. So, you know, if you can, you know, Radio 4, Jackie loves. Radio 4 is splendid. I mean, there is so much on Radio 4. Circle dancing came from Iona. David, I don't think that's you who said that. That's probably your wife who said that. Oh, RTE, Miscellany. Never listened to Itmar. Somebody's showing their age there. Michael Ball on Sunday. Oh, is that on Radio 2 perhaps? I never listened to Radio 2. I don't think I'm old enough to listen to Radio 2. There must be, I don't listen to Radio 1 either. Smooth and classical. Terry Wogan. So Margaret, you were a tog. Ken Bruce. Well, yeah, sorry. What is circle dancing? There's a good question. Probably not one we can answer here. Elaine Page on Sunday afternoon. Again, that's probably Radio 2, isn't it? So Helen Jones on Radio Merseyside, Daybreak. Okay, yeah. Radio 4, Radio 2. I think I'm going to have to start listening to Radio 2, aren't I? Because everybody seems to be Radio 4. There's a new, I mean, I listen to the football on Radio 5, 5 Live, football and the different sports, when they have the cricket commentary and all that. Bretta Davis says Terry Wigan. I think she probably means Terry Wogan, but I like the misprint. Listen to Radio 4 while sewing crafts. 3, 4 and 6. Right, I can't say I've ever listened to Radio 6. Kevin Callahan, happy birthday, 80 today. So that's why you remember it, Mar. Smooth FM. Okay, reminds you. Sheila Fogarty on LBC. Right, Maureen, I listened to Sheila Fogarty, good Catholic girl. Used to go to, well, what's now John Bosco Girls' School. Used to be the Salesians. Radio 6, Rachel, I've never listened to Radio 6. Classic FM, Margaret, I used to listen to Classic FM a lot, but I've moved to Scala, because Classic FM annoys me. Some other presenters, I'm going to say they're up themselves. I don't know whether I can say that, but you know what I mean. I am too young for radio. Smooth FM in the car, definitely. There's a new radio station starting tomorrow, I noticed, called Times Radio. and it's a talk station. It's supposed to be a kind of news station. I'm a bit of a news freak, really. So I might listen to it, but I might not, because it's owned by Rupert Murdoch, and I'm not a great Rupert Murdoch fan, I'm afraid. Sounds of the 70s, Johnny Walker. But I mean, I think the radio is I sometimes listen to 4 Extra, because it has a lot of comedy programs on it. So things like All Gas and Gators. Anybody remember All Gas and Gators? After Henry. I love those 2 programs. Sing Something Simple on a Sunday evening. Yes, Pauline, you probably remember Muffin the Mule and all that. Ed Stewart. I grew up as a child listening to Junior Choice. Neil Arthur Niker. Paul listens to Neil. Yeah, I don't mind. All right, sometimes. Junior Choice. Ed Stewpot Stewart. There was somebody before it, but I can't remember. And then it became Tony Blackburn and the Arnold the dog. Woof woof. So I mean, it's fun. And then Sunday night, I used to tape the charts. It used to be on Radio 1, the chart show. And in the days when you had a microphone, you put it in front of the radio speaker. Yeah, Junior Choice, that was the program, Junior Choice. And you put a microphone in front of the speaker, and you taped the top 20, and then you listened to it during the week. I remember listening to it, secretly in bed on a portable, like an oblong portable cassette player. Anyone seen the Talking Pictures on the channel? No? On the television? No? We're not talking about television. The shipping forecast. Yes. Ruth Carter, that says more about you than about the radio. Radio 4, Winifred Robinson, a St. Teresa's girl. Oh, I didn't realise that. Right. I mean, so there's lots to listen to on the radio, taping the charts and dancing to them with friends in the kitchen. Yeah, I mean, it was a ritual. I mean, I remember, we used to go and visit my Uncle George and Auntie Rose on a Sunday afternoon. I used to hate it, because I used to insist that, I could take the tape player and record Hold Your Plums. I remember Hold Your Plums. That was embarrassing, wasn't it? Billy and Wally, wasn't it? Hold Your Plums on Radio Merseyside. I mean, it was unbelievable to think how daft some people were. Noel Edmonds. I mean, Noel Edmonds was a great radio broadcaster, without doubt. Like somebody like Simon Mayo today, I think is just an intelligent broadcaster. Anna, Radio Luxembourg and Radio Caroline, vaguely remember those, probably a bit older than I am. But I remember trying to find Radio Luxembourg, and of course Kenny Everett started his radio career in Radio Luxembourg, and possibly Caroline as well, I can't remember. That takes me back to, a very early tea and chat, that if you missed it, well, I'm sorry, we're not going over that again. So Hold Your Plums while cooking Sunday roast. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Rachel, Here Comes the Rain, you're right. Maria, Kenny Everett, yes, Kenny Everett was a very gifted workers' playtime. No, I don't remember that at all. It was probably on the home service. The chart show, we still listen to Tony Blackburn, yeah. I mean, it's funny, isn't it, how, I think the radio is really very special. I mean, Radio 4 is what I'd take to the desert island if I could only have one radio, because the variety of stuff is fantastic. But I still think, no television in your childhood days, Mary. Well, yeah, I mean, we had a television, but I remember first getting a colour television. The first programme I ever saw, I'm going to stop in a minute, this is rambling on. The first programme I ever saw on television in colour was Stingray. I know that I'd been to the cinema and seen films in colour, but I remember sitting at home seeing this version of Stingray on television in colour. Patty Banner just bought a DAB radio. It's great. You'll love it. It's fantastic. So it's really, really good. I'll stop in a minute. Just a few things, just announcement things that the church is open Monday to Friday this week. Next week, a week on Monday, the 6th of July, we hope to open for Mass. We're having a parish council meeting tomorrow, a Zoom meeting, just to talk through some of the things that we'll have to do. One thing we're trying to do is to make sure that we don't get overcrowded on any one particular day. So if you can come, don't just come on Sunday. Please come instead on a weekday. But we'll talk more about that when we've got the arrangements next week. Aquamarina. Michelle wanted to be Aquamarina I never liked Marina from Stingray. Don't know why. I just didn't like her. But never mind. We're not going into Stingray. That'll be for another time. So thank you for this chat together. Thank you for sharing some of the radio memories. It's been good fun to have this opportunity to talk together. Thank you again for everything that everybody's doing for each other to keep everybody safe. We're heroes, all of us. Remember that. It's so important to remember that we're heroes, and we'll keep each other safe, and we'll keep social distancing. It's not gone away. Just a minute. I'm sorry I haven't a clue. I'm sorry I haven't a clue. That's Radio 4. They're repeated sometimes on Radio 4 Extra. Humphrey Littleton and Samantha. I'm sorry, we could go on forever here. This is over 15 minutes now. So we'll stop. Please take care this week. Have a great Sunday today. Have a great week. And we'll do this again next Sunday. Take care and God bless everyone.